Who do you think the Pelicans took based on my reaction?
I hope it's Nolan Traore. I think that'd be amazing.
No, they did not take Traore. They took Jeremiah Fears. So they took a player that I have within the next 5 spots of Nolan Traore for what it's worth.
But for people who don't know, that was a Troy Weaver, Killian Hayes joke, which we may be able to still apply, but
might still be able to apply that here. So, okay. Jeremiah Fears. Before we go into Fierce, I just want to be very clear with people. There's a very real upside here with Jeremiah Fears. He is a special creator with the ball in his hands. Like, he has a really creative ability off the bounce to be able to get to his spots, to be able to find different creases and cracks. He is very quick. He is lightning fast. And he is very creative in the way that he utilizes his handle. It's everything else with Fears that worries me. Do you want to jump in there and talk about that?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's not just me.
No, I mean, to me, it's feast or famine. Like I literally have it written here in my notes for him. There's a lot of projection, and we talk about this all the time in terms of like providing value to the team that drafts you. And I do just wonder, like, how long will it take for Fears? You mention this all the time, Sam, with young point guards, right? And he was another reclass guy, right? If I'm not mistaken. So he's younger. He is only 18 years old, doesn't turn 19 until October. So like the first step, like all of that stuff is truly there. Really explosive first step. But like ball screen operation, finish, like all of those things, the jumper, like is the scoring package going to be there? And then, we talk about defensively on ball, the size is going to be an issue at times. And then the defense, like we talk about Ace Bailey off the ball defensively. Sam, like there's just as bad with Jeremiah Fears off the ball defensively. So,
can you imagine? So this was we brought this up yesterday. I'm just going to go. I'm going to do it. Okay. Now like the camera's crooked and everything. We're going into the, canted angle to talk about Jeremiah Fears. Okay. So we talked about like, when are they going to build a defensive infrastructure in New Orleans? They just traded for Jordan Poole. They have Zion Williamson. Yves Missy is not a good defender right now. Like, let's just be like transparent about that. Like, it's going to take him some time to do that. Fears, I think, is the worst defender in the first round that will be taken this year. He's very small. He's very slight. There's no margin for error for him. He has moments of like high energy effort in some big spots, but the engagement's just not always consistent. Like, he allowed dribble penetration off the bounce. Didn't always like get into a consistent defensive stance, would get beaten by guards in straight lines because of it. Then in ball screens, like he would get crushed in screens and like wasn't sure what his responsibility was all the time, and like slip actions or ghost actions, and like opponents could reject screens too easily because he'd be out of position slightly, and then like second and third efforts weren't really consistent. So now you're pairing that with Jordan Poole, right? All of those same concerns apply. Offensively, again, like great at creating the initial advantage.
Yeah.
But what happens when he gets it?
Yep.
Right? He doesn't really make shots at the rim. We talked about VJ Edgecombe's finishing being concerning. Fear shot 44.5% at the rim this season in half court settings, which is concerning according to Synergy. He made 28% of his threes, so he's not really a shooter right now. What is this? You know what I mean? Like, what is the plan, I guess? Like, is it just create advantages, kick out? And then, oh, by the way, he's like an okay passer. There are moments where he can make good passing reads. Like, he is a good jump passer to dump off situations. But man, Bryce, this is hard. Look, I have Fears at 18. Like, he's one of those guys where you either completely buy into it,
yeah,
or you don't buy into it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's the reality. You either get it or you don't.
Yep.
And the people that love him have him in the top 5 for sure. The people that don't, they're going to have him where I do at 18, right?
Yeah. I mean, and the thing with the 3-point percentage is actually like the catch and shoot numbers aren't bad. He was 36%. It was the dribble 3-point where he was 21% on 73 attempts. The 2-point dribble jumper was a little bit better. He's going to have a floater game. I think that's kind of my worry a little bit is like the other thing is, and we'll talk about this with a few different guys, he kind of has one path to success. He has to be a primary creator. And with that comes, you have to knock down shots off the bounce. You have to improve finishing around the rim, because if you don't have that scoring, then now you're a backup primary creator, which like in general is okay, but is that okay at 7? And if you don't figure out the defensive thing, so there is real upside here, because if he is just young and figures out the finishing, and he is going to be able to attack, because that is one number that is impressive, is just the sheer number of attempts at the rim that he got this year at Oklahoma. If he figures out the floater, the dribble 3-pointer, like those things, it all comes together. He's going to be a really, really good offensive player. I think defensively, there's still going to be some concerns, but that's how it works. It's just like, I would like a few more outs other than like all of these have to hit for him to be this one specific archetype and role.
I think that's right. Shout out to JDW Karasu, me being so polite in disagreeing with Fierce. I do disagree with the Fierce pick.
Uh-oh.
What the fuck?
Uh-oh.
Okay. So we'll talk about 12 in a second here.
What?
So 13 has been traded, according to Shams. The Atlanta Hawks are trading number 13 to the New Orleans Pelicans for number 23 and an unprotected 2026 first rounder, the most favorable of New Orleans and Milwaukee. What is happening? I mean, look, my number one draft loser is going to be New Orleans.
Sam,
I can guarantee that we're at that point.
This is the Troy Weaver playbook. This is exactly what he did his first draft in Detroit. At number 7, he took a small guard and then he traded picks to get up in the draft. That one at least was a protected pick that finally conveyed. But like, this is truly what he did his first year in Detroit.
So the New Orleans Pelicans have traded number 23 and the best of New Orleans and Milwaukee's first rounder next year for number 13 next year.
They gave up their own.
Look, I don't know what you guys think about the New Orleans Pelicans next year. I don't think this is going to be a good basketball team. I think they are going to be one of the 3 worst defensive teams in the NBA. They're going to be playing Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen, like theoretically some real minutes here, or Yves Missy real minutes, who's still not very good defensively. They're going to be playing Zion. They're going to hope that Zion is like healthy the whole year. What if Zion gets hurt? They're totally fucked. This is honestly, this is one of the crazier trades I've seen in a while.
Sam, I don't understand. This is a lot.
Yeah, continue, Bryce. Like, so, I know you lived through this, by the way. You've been through the Troy Weaver experience.
I'm telling you.
This is similar.
It's the playbook. You know what's funny? I didn't even think about this the other day. Do you know who ended up in New Orleans in that trade with CJ McCollum and Jordan Poole? Everybody calls it the Jordan Poole trade. I don't think that's who they were trading for. Sadiq Bey. And Sadiq Bey was in Washington with Troy Weaver after being drafted by Troy Weaver and is now in New Orleans with Troy Weaver. The only thing that breaks that is Troy Weaver actually traded him. Derek Queen, team-specific, versatile creation big man. Like, is this the team, Sam, that makes sense for him in terms of being able to use him the right way on the... offensive end, like, is this a great fit for Zion Williamson? Is this a great fit for Jeremiah Fears in terms of offensively? And then, like, you've already highlighted the defense. I like Queen. I really came around on him. Like, the drafting him at 13 isn't necessarily an issue to me. Trading an unprotected 2026 first round pick to draft him is not necessarily something I would be excited about.
So they have selected Derek Queen officially. I am flabbergasted. Okay, so they have said that they want to keep Zion. Like,
yeah,
Joe Dumars has said that they are keeping Zion. Derek Queen and Zion Williamson do not work together
at all.
Point blank. They don't work together. They try to get to the same areas of the court. They both love to grab and go. I'm all for like having 5 guys who can dribble pass shoot out there, but it doesn't really work for me. They try to get to the exact same areas of the court. They both want to be like in the mid post, unless you're going to play Zion as a point guard. But oh wait, you just drafted your point guard in Jeremiah Fears
and traded for Jordan Poole.
I am so confused. I mean, I'm not like, I know what this is. This is like, do we need the league to take over the Pelicans again? Is that where we're at? Like, does the league have to take over the New Orleans basketball franchise again and just get this thing right? Let's, and I like Derek Queen, the player. We'll talk about Derek Queen in a second. I actually also like Derek Queen, the player.
Yeah.
But this is insane. This is absolute. You're building a team off of players that like aren't really playoff guys too. So what's your goal? I don't know. I can't with this. It drives me crazy because I like the player Derek Queen. Queen.
That's a great
is one of 5.
Can we just talk about Queen? Can we just do that? Like, we can evaluate offseason moves throughout the whole summer. Can we just give Derek Queen his credit for who he is as a prospect? Derek Queen
is one of 5 freshmen since 1980 to average 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 1.9 assists while shooting 50% from the field. He took about 1 3 a game. He shot 74% from the line. Awesome rebounder, incredible ball handler for a big, plays at great speed, plays like with real control over the ball. Just like he's a hooper. Like, he just totally understands. That's what this team is. This is Hooper team now. Totally understands like how to be able to size up his man. He'll hit like crossovers with like hesitation. He'll hit like beautiful shot fakes off of pass fakes, like into shot fakes. And like, he's so sharp in terms of how he gets guys off balance. Great post presence. By the way, do you know where Derek Queen is from, Bryce?
No.
Derek Queen.
I know he went to
from Baltimore, Maryland, baby.
I was going to say Pittsburgh. Usually those are the ones you shout out.
No, I'm shouting out Baltimore because who does Troy Weaver tend to value? The guys from the DMV, baby. I mean, this is where we're at.
They did draft Bub last year. Wasn't he from Baltimore?
They drafted Bub last year from Baltimore.
The Wizards, where Troy Weaver was, so you guys know.
Yeah, drafted Sadiq Bey when he was with Detroit. Like, it's the guys that he knows. The big questions come on defense. Bryce, I will let you talk about Derek Queen on defense.
Yeah, I mean, so I think he plays with good verticality. Gone for multiple shot fakes though. And then like closeouts are the biggest issue. Like, it's the thing is, can you play him at the 5? Does he have the size for this? So this was when the measurements came out. I had somebody DM me and be like, Bryce, like, you need to realize that when this wingspan wasn't very good, the size, the measurements aren't great. He is below average in terms of those measurements as a 5, and they're not even that great as a 4 if he can do that and play at the 4 for the team in the NBA. And so like, that's where I'm a little bit concerned, right? Like, I think he probably, he's such a good court mapper and like processor of the game to me. I can't imagine that doesn't translate to the defensive end in some way. And so maybe he can figure out to be like neutral maybe Sam, like that's the best possible outcome if he can figure out the positionality of things. Is that fair?
My hope for him was that he could get to, I wouldn't say neutral, I would say a little bit below average, just because he moves. He doesn't move super well, right? Like he moves okay laterally. It's that he doesn't move super well north-south.
Sure.
More than anything is the issue. I worry about him scrambling and like closing out in the modern NBA, being able to play defense that way. But like, he's going to put up points and rebounds. Like he is going to produce, I think, Derek Queen, but he would have produced somewhere. I just worry if Zion's going to gobble up the points and rebounds that he would typically get. So like, it's just not even a great fit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Pelicans fans, I'm sorry.
Checking like some of the group messages, like stuff like that, everybody's saying the same thing. Is like, we like the player Derek Queen. We don't love putting him in New Orleans with Zion Williamson.